Welcome to episode 35 of the Active Bariatric Nutrition Podcast. I'm your host, Kim Tirapelli, bariatric sports dietitian. Today, I'm excited to chat with my guest, Ozzie Tirado, also known as _sleeve2fitness_. Ozzie is a dedicated English teacher who embarked on a transformative journey 2 years ago by undergoing gastric sleeve surgery. With determination and a lot of hard work, he has been able to achieve physical changes, but also found renewed energy to pursue his passion for teaching and coaching. As an aspiring group class coach, he is driven to inspire others with their story of self-discovery and wellness. Thanks so much for being here.
No problem. I love being here. Thank you for the invitation.
You bet. Yeah, I know. And I know before we hit record here, I was talking about I've been following you for a while. I just love all your posts because I love seeing all your workouts that you do from your gym at home, which is so cool.
Thank you. Especially since honestly, I never thought anybody was going to see these. So they were there just to say, hey, I worked out today. Okay, it's for me.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to see it. But hey, at least it's something.
Absolutely. No, it's inspiring and motivating. And that's what I love about having folks on, the podcast is just how we can learn from each other, but also just, seeing what works for some folks might help others. You know what I mean? And your journey's just been really cool. So I want to dive into that today if that's cool.
Sure, no problem.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's start off with tell us a little bit about, why did you choose to have bariatric surgery? How has it impacted your life?
Really, honestly, before I didn't even know about bariatric surgery whatsoever.
Yeah.
So for me, I always had an issue with my lower back. So every single time I was heavy, yes, but every year it seemed like I didn't care so much. So I got heavier and heavier and heavier,
Sure.
and I started having or developing lower back issues.
Oh.
Got to the point that I had 2 herniated discs, and I had to have two back surgeries.
Oh no.
So the thing about this is that it got to the point that at my highest weight, which isn't so high for some, but for me it was pretty bad,
Mhm.
was about 245.
Okay.
And I was at the risk of having another back surgery.
Oh.
But not just any surgery. They were actually going to fuse my vertebrae.
Oh no.
So if
Yeah.
they were going to do that pretty much was it for my mobility, for my quality of life, and things of that nature.
Sure.
And my doctor pretty much said, "Hey, the only way to kind of avoid this is to lose weight." So I was like, "Okay," and so I tried it myself. I did months of dieting, crash dieting, and doing whatever the heck I could.
Sure.
With no luck. I didn't even know I had thyroid issues. I ended up finding out after, but my doctor said, "You know what? Look into VSG or gastric sleeve uh, in bariatrics."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Okay, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Take a look at it." And I mean, it's been a game changer completely for me.
Aw.
So I didn't have to have the third surgery. So yay! It's always
Yay.
good.
Yeah. And based on all the videos I see, you're moving pretty good in your gym. So looks like that has improved significantly, your range of motion.
Much better.
Yeah.
It's weird because something that I always remember that my doctor said is that for every pound that you lose, it's about 3 pounds of pressure in your back. So people that have lower back issues, knee issues, anything with joints, I mean, just getting rid of that weight, even if it is a pound, 2 pounds, imagine 10 pounds, 20,
Right.
30, 40, what difference that can really make.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh. And so tell us a little bit about your, how you got into your current fitness routine. Did you used to, strength train or do HIIT workouts and things like that pre-surgery, or is that something newer now that you're able to do more?
That's pretty much new. Before when I was a lot younger, I was into martial arts.
Okay.
So I was doing jujitsu, I was doing Krav Maga, even dabbled into like capoeira and things like that. I
Mhm.
like to kind of test things around.
Yeah.
But as I started getting bigger, then it got less and less that I could do things.
Sure.
But so hit training and high cardio, that was not even thought of at all.
Sure.
I never I it was hard to just go upstairs kind of thing, like out of breath and things like
Mhm.
that. So it really just started to come up after the surgery, after I started slimming down a little and noticing that I could do these things.
Right.
So it actually got me excited to experiment and keep on going and try more things. And I've been pretty much on a discovery journey ever since.
Oh, I love that. So when you first, after you had your surgery and you were initially losing weight, were you walking? What were you doing for physical activity?
Walking.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only thing I could do.
Sure.
It was very frustrating at first because I wanted to do things. I was used to like at least going swimming or surfing or doing something, anything.
Right.
But because of the limitations, even the doctor said, just start walking.
Yeah.
We'll go from there.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so let's start little by little.
Mm-hmm.
Walking became jogging, jogging became running, and it pretty much went from there.
Oh, that's awesome. So how long would you say it took you kind of in that phase, that kind of walking to jogging to running phase before you got into the HIIT workouts? Was that like a year, 2 years? How long?
Honestly, it was about a year.
Okay.
I kept on asking my doctor, saying, "Hey, when can I really exercise? Because I was excited to discover this kind of new body per se."
Sure.
And they were like, "No, hold off. It is a little by little. We don't want to hurt yourself or do something or anything. Just get accustomed to this new body and what your body can actually do."
Yeah.
So I started really slightly doing more exercise, for example, like yoga and things like for flexibility after the 6th month. And then I started really experimenting about a year and a year and a half or so.
Okay, gotcha. So tell us a little bit about like what are your goals for exercise? Like what are you working on right now, would you say?
Okay. At first, it was slim down as much as you can
Yeah.
and pretty much get the lowest number that you could. And that was my utmost goal for everything. And then I realized how that's not really the right way to go for it.
Sure. All right.
So currently, my focus is not only getting more flexibility, getting that motion, especially with my lower back
Mhm.
issues and things like that, but I'm kind of testing out how my body can take things.
Sure.
I mean, I'm trying to discover everything from cycling to HIIT to rock climbing
Oh, awesome.
to running. I'm actually considering doing a 5K here pretty soon,
Yay!
possibly. So
Awesome. Yeah.
some things that I would have never ever considered before.
Sure. So what are you doing right now? Tell everyone kind of what you do in terms of your routine in your home gym. Like maybe start with
Mhm.
how did you start with setting up your home gym? What did you start with in terms of getting equipment or whatever? Give us that first and then we'll get into what you're doing.
Sure. At my home gym, honestly, I started pretty much during pandemic time.
Okay.
So, I mean, even going to the gym wasn't an option
Right.
at all. So I started just kind of like going through YouTube and trying to figure out, oh, hey, let's do a 5-minute YouTube workout or this or that.
Right.
Then I wanted a little bit more, so I actually started researching for like online providers. For example, let's like Beachbody, like Les Mills, like Peloton, and things
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
And I started learning that I don't need a lot of stuff to actually exercise,
Right.
and I don't need a lot of time either to exercise.
Sure.
So I literally started with with some running shoes that I found and my computer,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much where it started. And little by little, I was interested in trying out more things. So I got to Marketplace, went to Amazon, I went to different place. I got some dumbbells here, some shoes there, little by little, and now I have a pretty decent gym at home.
I love it. I love it. And you just kind of built it based around kind of what your workouts require and you've kind of expanded from there.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
First, it was a workout mat,
Mhm. Yeah.
technically, or a yoga mat, and now at least I have up to 50-pound dumbbells, indoor cycle,
Mhm.
and it's all in my extra room that we didn't use.
Yeah.
It's my home gym now.
Yeah. I just love that because I know we were talking about this before we hit record was, that's what kind of drew me to all your posts because I was like, I'm wondering if that's out of your home gym. And because I oftentimes get that, folks, especially in that first year or, even maybe thereafter, it can be intimidating to go into a gym, especially if you don't have a lot of experience in a gym and you don't know what to do. And, you can start from home and build on that to whatever you want to make it. And I've just been inspired by all your posts because I can see it, all the kinds of workouts you're doing, and it's a lot.
A little bit of everything I try.
Yeah.
But I completely understand that fear, especially when you're bigger,
Right.
going to a new gym or going to things like that, like you're afraid. Honestly, you're not only afraid of not doing things correctly or just people looking at you, honestly.
Right.
And sometimes for a lot of people, just starting at home, getting that confidence up just by working out a little bit and getting used to the idea
Yep.
of that routine, it's going to help a lot.
Yeah. It gives you more confidence. Absolutely. More comfort level. Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
So, what is your current workout routine? Can you kind of give us, what do you do each week? How many days a week you're working out? What's the type of workout you're doing?
Okay. Currently, I'm working out about 6 days a week.
Okay.
So I always try to give myself at least a rest day
Mm-hmm.
or at least an active, which is like stretching or something very, very low key, or even just walking by the beach kind of thing. That would be
Sure.
my rest day. But I'm trying to be a little bit balanced. I do 3 strength days,
Okay.
which is lifting weights, things that require pretty much low repetitions, higher
Mm-hmm.
weight kind of things.
Okay.
And then the other 3 days, I do the other side of the coin. I
Okay.
do HIIT training, I do cardio, I do a lot of like martial art kind of movements and things
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to keep balance. I'm testing out my limits per se.
Sure. Sure. And how have you
Hmm.
seen that impact your body composition? How's that changed over the last, how long have you been doing that routine? Is that new or?
This one is yeah, I think it's since the beginning of the year.
Okay. Okay.
So because before I kind of got into the mode of only doing cardio.
Sure.
And it was great. I mentioned before, I got to really know numbers in the scale.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing is that I started looking really, really lanky.
Yeah.
And I mean, even to the point that people were saying, "Hey, you look kind of sick."
Sure.
And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm exercising. What are you talking about? I
Right.
should be like amazing and incredible at this and that. And people telling me that I'm lanky and that I look sick. So it's like, you know what? No, I have to
Yeah.
switch it up a little bit.
Sure.
So I started researching a little bit and noticed that strength training was kind of a little better, at least from my situation.
Sure.
So I started with 1 or 2 days of strength training, and I've been kind of doing that from small little weights, 5 pounds,
Yeah.
high repetition, now to 40, 50 pound dumbbells and things
Oh,
like that.
wow. That's so awesome. And so over the last like what, 9 months, 8 months, I guess, how has the body
Mhm.
composition changed, would you say?
I actually have muscle
Hey,
mass, which is
that's good.
something I've never had.
Sure.
Even in the days where was practicing martial arts and everything, I actually have at least some definition.
Yeah.
It's not just slim kind of thing with extra skin, of course,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it wasn't any kind of like muscle at all. Like now I can actually see the difference, and it's actually kind of nice. It gives
Yeah.
you that boost of confidence.
Yeah, definitely. How has that like impacted your day-to-day life, just being stronger in general? How have you felt? Has that helped your back?
Yes, by far.
Yeah.
Even my doctors are surprised.
Wow.
They were like, We never thought." We were actually just planning for that third surgery already.
Yeah.
So just by seeing that I'm doing HIIT training,
Right.
that I'm doing cardio, that I'm doing all of these activities, they're quite surprised that from what they saw before
Right.
to what they see now.
Yeah. Gosh, that's incredible. I mean, that's like a life-changing thing because not only have you lost a significant amount of weight, but now you're gaining muscle, you're stronger. You know what I mean? Your
Hmm.
body's healthier. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the cool thing about like working out is that at first it seems tedious, Uh, but then it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And when it becomes a habit, it's kind of like I feel strange when I don't do it.
Right.
And that's a really good point to be at,
Yeah.
because I don't have to say, oh, you know what? No, I gotta
Right.
do this. I gotta do. No, I look forward to it
Yeah.
because I know that my body is in a different way better
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
before.
definitely. And I know I don't even have this as a question, but you mentioned in our intro here that you want to be a coach. Tell us a little bit about what you want to do.
Yeah, actually, there is I believe in the February of this year, I went to a live event where is a group kind of class thing, and
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, that's all for like cardio moms and this and that and
Sure.
whatever. And I found this certain one, which is called a body combat, which is kind of based on martial arts.
Okay.
So this is already kind of like a familiar notes per se.
Sure.
And I noticed the energy that people had. I noticed that I, I don't the je ne sais quoi, you know,
Yeah.
it's one of those that gave you so much energy, gave you so much empowerment of sorts,
Yeah.
that it kind of made me think about, hey, why don't I try this? Maybe not exactly as a career itself, but an
Right.
add-on.
Sure.
So if I feel like this, why not try to help other people feel the same way too?
Sure. Yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome. So you would be going, getting trained to then be the instructor for those types of group classes. And it's like a HIIT. Those are HIIT workouts.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So it is kind of like a hit. It's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of cardio. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you're within 45 minutes to 55 minutes, you're killing about 600 to 700 calories.
Wow. Yeah.
So it is it is very intensive,
Yeah.
and even for an instructor to be able to impart those kind of classes, withstand the pressure and be able to correct and guide and help while doing everything.
Right.
I mean,
That's challenging.
it's some work,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
I've actually already started with this, so I'm partly approved to be this kind of coach. So I'm going through the training already. So
Oh,
my goal
great.
is for this year to be fully certified if possible.
Oh, exciting. Oh my gosh. Okay. And so down the road, will you be like, do we have to come in person or is it going to be online?
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
I'm aiming to do a hybrid if possible. So
Okay.
maybe a little bit online, and maybe at a gym nearby. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Sorry, I know I totally am going off script, but I just think that's
No,
so
no worries.
exciting. That's awesome. So, and I remember back in February when you and I talked a little bit because you were like, hey, I'm going to this all day thing. What should
Exactly.
I be eating? Remember? And I was like,
Yep.
oh, hey, Ozzie, yeah, sure. Let's talk about you need to make sure you're having carbs. If you're going to be doing this for however many hours, we're going to have
Yeah.
to pack some food. And how did that day go in terms of your nutrition?
That honestly, I was afraid because I remember one key thing that you mentioned is eat your carbs.
Yes.
And for me, it was like, what are you talking about? That's like so prohibited when it
Yes.
comes to after bariatric surgery. And no, carbs, they're evil.
Right.
No.
Totally.
So just by those tips that you gave me, like eating
Yeah.
bananas
Yeah.
prior to like those HIIT
Yeah.
workouts, or a little bit of granola, or just
Yeah.
things that can help you withstand.
Right.
And you want to not only withstand, you want to be able to really go for it in a
Totally.
sense, and that helps you go for it
Absolutely.
while doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to recap, yeah. So we had talked about back then how many hours was that day, by the way? Wasn't like
Too
long.
many.
Yeah.
So I think overall it was about almost 5 hours
Yeah. Oh my
of
gosh.
working out. I've never done that much
Oh my
ever.
gosh. Wow. Yeah. And I forgot to mention this before. So we've been talking about HIIT. So HIIT is HIIT, high intensity interval training, excuse me.
Correct.
And, when you had mentioned, messaged me about that, I was saying, carbs are going to be important, making sure you're having some sodium, some salt in your diet in the days up to it, staying hydrated, packing
Mm,
fluids, trying to fuel kind of throughout that. Because for some folks that might do longer endurance, like hikes or, rides or walks, runs, jogs. I mean, that's where that
mhm.
fueling piece is so key.
That's correct. It's interesting how much of a difference it makes,
Right.
because before, even just drinking water with a little bit of salt,
Yeah.
or I mean, even just pickle juice, which is
Yes.
weird. I know it sounds so weird, but it helps so much.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
be able to withstand and really, I don't know, it makes a difference.
Sure. Yeah. And so since since you've had your surgery, now that you're exercising more, let's talk a little bit about your nutrition. How has
Sure.
it changed, would you say, over time in this last maybe year or so?
Kind of like what I mentioned, the biggest key is that carbs are your friend.
Yep.
So they're not evil. They're not. You just have to know what kind of carbs to do,
Sure.
and when.
Yeah.
That, I think that's the biggest one for me, at least, that I had to learn, is when.
Yeah.
Being able to eat some carbs, or some kind of good carbs, prior to a workout. Let's say just an oatmeal,
Yep.
or a rice cake with peanut butter, or something like that. Whew, it's a game changer for sure.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's so true. I know typically I try to get folks, hey, if you can get in 15 to 30 grams of carbs, whether that's from, like we talked about, like a banana is 30 grams. A
Mhm,
whole banana is 30 grams right there.
mhm.
And that's easy to digest, but you want things that are going to be easy to digest and quick and available to your muscles, so that when you are stepping into, these high workouts, these hard workouts, you have that fuel in your muscles to draw
Mhm.
upon. So it sounds like that's worked for you then.
Definitely. I mean, I've actually experimented it.
Sure.
So I've tried with, and I've tried without. Without, I have to say, I didn't last like 20 minutes doing like, I was on the floor.
Oh,
So having these kind of things helps a lot.
yeah.
So thank you, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. No. So tell us a little bit about your eating pattern in general. Do you still, are you eating just 3 meals a day? Are you incorporating snacks now? How has that worked for you?
Definitely incorporating snacks.
Okay.
Because with the bariatric surgery and everything, because our stomachs are so much smaller, um, and all this exercise that I'm doing, I have to have a certain amount of protein.
Right.
And to be honest, it's really, really hard to do that.
Sure.
So I try to do about 3 main meals, but I do snack.
Hmm.
But I try to snack like ham,
Hmm.
or half of a peanut butter sandwich, or something. My peanut butter is one of my favorites
Yeah.
at the moment.
Sure.
But it helps a lot, because it gives that good fat and protein.
Hmm.
And actually, like, protein powders
Hmm.
have been helping me being able to get to that protein level that I need to be able to do all this.
Sure. And what are you aiming for right now in protein?
Um, about 150, 160 grams of
Yeah,
protein.
absolutely.
So initially, I think it was like 70 or 80 at
Hmm.
first,
Right.
but I noticed by increasing that, it's helped me in every sense of the way.
Hmm.
So not only muscle wise, but resistance wise, and being able to feel full. Because now sometimes, just by eating a little bit, it's like it'll help me just withstand the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's so important to say because, everyone's pattern of eating, I've said this just in the last episode I had, everyone's pattern of eating is so different based on what you're doing for exercise and where you are
Mhm.
in your phase of your journey, right? So, in the
Correct.
early phases when you can't eat very much, the 3 meals a day is what folks can tolerate, and that's great and that's okay. But as
Mhm.
you have found, as you've been exercising more, you need to distribute those calories and carbs and proteins and fats amongst maybe some additional snacks to meet your goals, and that's okay.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, little snacks. Let's say just a piece of turkey breast,
Yeah,
or a
yeah.
slice of ham or something. Just one small little thing. It it helps.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just like 1 ounce of turkey is about 7 grams of protein. I mean, so it gives you a lot of bang for your buck. A
Mhm.
string cheese stick, we're looking at 7 or 8
Oh
grams of
my gosh,
protein.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're lifesavers at the beginnings for sure.
Totally. And they're small volumes. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. Yeah. So what would you say is like your favorite? So your pre workout, you said, is like, rice cakes with peanut butter or oats. What else do you have pre workout? Anything else?
So, like, I was doing pre-workout powders before, and I still do at times, depending on the demand the exercise or the day that I'm going to have, but I
Hmm.
try to do more of just something simple,
Yeah.
which is like oatmeal with a little bit of peanut butter or a banana or something like that, just to have enough carbs in
Yeah.
and a lot of water.
Yeah. There you go.
A lot of water for
Sure.
sure.
Yeah.
So, because you notice a difference when you are dehydrated, you can't really do much
Yeah,
either.
so true. Yeah, I think we kind of forget that because it's we're all focused on, what are we eating? Calories, carb, protein, fat, timing, all those things, and the fluids kind of, it's
Hmm.
first of all, it's hard, challenging for bariatric patients to
Hmm.
get their fluids in, right? And then
Super.
timing that with your food and now trying to eat snacks. I mean, it's just is challenging. How has that worked for you getting in your fluids?
Honestly, it's been one of the hardest things. Just because it doesn't fit
Right,
sometimes,
right.
or because sometimes you just want to take huge gulps and everything, but you can't.
Yeah.
So it's just having water always available if possible. And for me, like I don't like tap water.
Sure.
It has to be almost like close to frozen.
Sure.
So it has to be really, really cold. But I've realized that that's my way of actually drinking it.
Yeah.
If it's really cold and always available, I'll just turn around like beside my while work. I just what, let's drink some.
Right.
Or by the gym. There's some water there. Okay, let's drink some.
Sure.
And it's been able to help me reach my goal consumption.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's good. I know. Kind of have it in your eyesight and just having it nearby all the time is a good it's a good reminder
Correct.
to be sipping. And how
Yeah.
about like your post-workout? What do you like to have after you work out to eat?
Mostly, definitely a protein shake.
Okay.
With like soy milk and a little bit of oatmeal kind of
Yeah.
thing, and
Sure.
half of a banana.
Yeah.
So kind of to replenish everything a little bit.
Yeah.
And I give it some time, and if I have time and chance, I'll try to get like 2 eggs.
Yeah.
And I'll just cook up a little like really quick scrambled eggs. And actually I do want to try that cottage cheese one that you just recently posted too.
Yes, it's so good.
So, but it's just 2 eggs, something really quick, something easy to digest, and it goes straight to that protein quota per se.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm glad that you're doing that. And a lot of folks do better initially right after a hard workout with like liquid, like the protein shake. And I'm glad to hear that you're adding the oats and the banana for the carbohydrate because we don't want to forget
Hmm.
about the carbs as well. And then oftentimes it's like, okay, now I feel better. I can eat something, eggs or whatever it might,
Yeah.
might be, is so important because that post-workout window, again, and I've said this in the past, reaching your overall protein goal for the day is number one most important factor for, muscle gaining, leaning out, that kind of
Hmm.
thing. But the timing can be another strategy. And think of it as your engine, it needs to be refueled, right? And that has to put back in. And it sounds like you're doing a great job of that.
Thank you. It was
Yeah.
a work in progress.
Yeah.
I had to learn the hard way, but I started. It's a journey. We can all say.
That's so true. So speaking of the journey, so what would you say is maybe some of your biggest like nutrition lessons that you've learned over the course of this last 2 years?
Nutrition wise, protein is king.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
That's the biggest one. And also know your limits when it comes to what your body and your stomach can take.
Yeah.
Your stomach might want a few things, and then you realize that it doesn't take it well anymore.
Sure.
So you have to kind of see alternatives, see what you can, and what is good for you at that time or stage of your training, of your life, et cetera, et cetera. So you kind of have to figure out what's good for you at that moment.
Yeah, that's so true. That's great advice. Yeah, because everybody's so different. And I know it's, we see all this stuff on the internet and like try this, try that, but what works best for you is what matters, right? So,
Correct.
and finding the foods that you tolerate and that kind of thing. And in terms of like your mindset, I like to touch on this too, because again, this is a journey. We're not just talking about what we're eating or exercise, but the mindset around it. Like, how has your mindset changed, over time, in any respect, whether it's, through eating differently or through adding this new exercise? How has that impacted your mindset?
Um, I think the biggest difference is that it's given me confidence. Before, especially when I was bigger, it's like you always had that kind of like little, voice in your head that was pretty negative in a way. It's like always, oh no, you should be thinner, you should this, you should that, that kind of thing. And no, you can't do this. That was a big one. You can't do this. You can't go out and run in
Right.
public, or you can't do this and that. But because of this whole thing, I've I've been trying out so many new things. I have a lot more confidence than I had before, and I'm almost like in explorative mode per se. So it's like, hey, why not?
Yeah.
Let's go rock climbing,
Yeah.
or let's go do this. Let me take off my shirt at the beach, something I would have never done in my life.
Yeah.
So now
Aw.
I'm kind of doing it. So
That's exciting. No, that's so exciting. I know it's so empowering. This process can be so empowering and life changing, obviously.
Mhm.
And what's some advice you might give to someone who wants to train from home, or are there good programs that kind of got you going on your home workouts? What would you advise?
To be honest, the biggest thing is do something that you like. Explore. It could be something so simple as running in place or walking in place. It doesn't have to be big. Start from there and start learning and exploring what you like. You might like a little bit of yoga, you might not.
Yeah.
But what about if you try something else? Walking by the beach, at the park, that could be something, or just stretching. That's a huge thing too. But for me, actually, I started, like I mentioned before, going with those was videos. Because honestly, I didn't know what I liked, and I didn't know what I could or couldn't do. So I experimented. So currently, I am following a lot of videos when it comes to online programs from Peloton
Okay.
and also from Les Mills Plus, which they're both awesome, at least for me, because I've been able to do a lot of things that I never thought before, including that HIIT workout and strength training. They both have great programs and a lot of a variety, which is the biggest thing.
Right.
So if you don't like something, just go out of that one, choose another one,
Right.
and go from there. See, explore, find something that you like, and you will stick to. That's the biggest thing. Stick to something.
Yeah. And would you say that those programs you mentioned, do they have like beginner levels and variety of different levels you can choose from?
Definitely. Both of those two companies actually do. What I love is they can be super simple, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes. That's it. And it could be something small. If you don't have equipment, you can do with body weight.
Right.
If you have equipment, they have things for that. They go up to like I think an hour and a half workouts,
Oh,
depending
wow.
on what you want.
Yeah.
And you can even stack it. You could say, I want 10 minutes of cycling, 10 minutes of yoga, or, variety, which I
Right.
love.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. No, I appreciate you sharing those resources because I think it's good to find, and those are both, reputable. I've heard of obviously Peloton I've heard of, but and Les Mills I've heard of as well. And it
Hmm.
sounds like with the different levels, people can start with where they're at and build
Hmm.
from there.
Correct. There
Yeah.
is no like initial, oh, you have to be an athlete.
Right.
No.
No.
Start from where you are. The most important thing is starting.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's great advice. Well, can you tell us where can people follow you or contact you, learn more, watch your journey?
Sure, sure. All pretty much. I have my account in Instagram, which is underscore sleeve number two fitness underscore. I really started there just to kind of for myself. I just wanted to say, hey, I did my workout. Okay, nobody's gonna see it, but you can actually see the progress little by little. How I've changed, my body has changed, and even the workouts. So, and even the activities that I started posting, like, hey, I went to this event.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna do this. And like even this Friday, I'm gonna go to a rooftop cycling class out of nowhere.
Oh,
Why
how
not?
fun. Fun. Yeah, do it. My gosh.
Yeah.
That's
S-
awesome. Well,
But
cool. Well, yeah, I mean, and is there anything else that you want to share?
the biggest thing is that guys, don't be afraid. This is a great resource that we all have. Just of course do your research, see what you can do, but don't be discouraged by any sense of the way. there's always a possibility. Just be able to explore and find out what works for you.
I love that. Well, thank you. Thanks so much, Ozzie, for being here. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for sharing your journey with everybody.
No, thank you for having me. It was definitely fun time.
Good, good. Awesome. Okay, well, you guys, please give him a follow. I love his page. Like I said, I know everyone that listens probably like, Kim is like a low-key Instagram stalker because I start following people's stories and I just like, I'll be like, hey, good job. Because I just think it's awesome. I love seeing what everyone's doing in the community in terms of, just fueling their workouts, changing their body composition. It's so exciting after bariatric surgery, what can be. And you're one of those people that I've been following. So thank you for sharing that.
No, thank you very much, and also reaching out and for all the help, even for the little things like hey, can I have a little tip here and there kind of thing, and for you to actually contact me too with those tips and recommendations, I greatly appreciate.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime, anytime. Well, very good, you guys. So, you can follow this full video of the podcast episode on my YouTube channel, the Active Bariatric Nutrition channel. So please make sure to subscribe to it, give it a like. And also, if you don't mind, please just share this podcast maybe with one person who you think might find this information helpful. Again, the whole purpose of the Active Bariatric Nutrition Podcast is to share inspiring and motivational journeys of bariatric active individuals, as well as talking, of course, about how we fuel for those different types of goals after surgery. So please, if you don't mind sharing this, I'd be so grateful for that. And if you'd like to follow me on my social media, I'm on Instagram at Active Bariatric, as well as my Facebook and TikTok channels. And if you'd like to learn more about my one-to-one bariatric nutrition coaching services, please go to my website at activebariatricnutrition.com and schedule a free discovery call so we can learn more about each other. So thanks again, Ozzie. I appreciate your time. And thanks everybody for tuning in this week. We'll do it again next week. Take care. Thanks,
Have a great
Ozzie.
one.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.